Algebra is often taught as a set of skills, things that you do. So the first step of the conversation is just to kind of just say, algebra, what do you think? And students today said things that they usually say when you ask that question. Variables, or solving for an unknown, letters, and x and y, and slope, but they have no idea of a cohesive nature because it's never presented as anything that is connected to itself. A different type of math. I want to actually, that's an interesting way to think of it. It's often taught that way, right? Like you do math, and then all of a sudden there's the day wherever you, whatever grade you were in at school, the first time your teacher said something like, right? And all of a sudden you're like, wait, what? Right? It's this totally different thing now. Everything that we came before, it's different. And it's not, or at least it doesn't have to go that way. Because really what algebra is a tool that was developed by people to understand this word. So we have this conversation about just the word pattern and where are patterns in our lives and what is the word, where do you see it? And so they're going to be looking at visual patterns and number patterns and a series of other patterns in order to make generalizations. So we're going to jump right back into our patterns because we have a problem at the heart of our pattern work. So I want to practice, I want to do a little bit of work with this idea of patterns, right? That patterns are things that we make observations, we gather information in order to make predictions. And we're going to start with a pattern just to kind of get a sense and practice that definition. That looks like this. Let me put it here. What's the next number going to be?
5.
No. But good guess. This is a different pattern than that one. Anyone want to guess what the next number is going to be?
34.
Anyone want to guess the next?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. And then so on and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like you're dancing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's this number pattern. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys a question. I want you to play around a little bit with this. So the idea with patterns is it's a way to connect math that students know with algebra. Patterns are about making observations and gathering information and using it to make a prediction. We're going to build off that connection to algebra. So first of all, the 19th number in the sequence, the first question was to find the 19th number. If this is the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, what would the 19th be?
3.
So I saw a lot of 3s as I was walking around. Do I have any other number? Any other possible number? Everybody got 3? Mm-hmm. Give me a if you got 3. Okay. So let's see a couple of different ways. We're not going to go through, we're going to just do one strategy for each of them, but we're going to look at different strategies for each. So Renee, you're going to be the brain and I'm going to be the hand. So I'm going to represent your strategy, but you have to tell me what to do. I'm just a floppy hand. You're the brain. How did you figure out that it was 3? What was your strategy?
I counted from where you start, and I add 3 sets of 4, 3 sets of same pattern. I got 19.
So you did. So this is what I gave you, right? And so then you added
3 more sets of 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I counted from your first set, which was the 8th number, which was 4.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was the 8th number.
And I continued.
So if this was the 8th number,
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
okay, nice. Raise your hand if you got the 3 in the same way. You wrote out the numbers, you continued the pattern. Okay, nice. So this one strategy, we'll call it the Renee strategy, is to continue with the pattern. Okay, good. Can we use Renee's strategy to figure out the 41st?
Yeah.
Can we do it? Yeah. Would this strategy get us there?
Yes.
Absolutely, and proof of it is that, Renee, how did you figure out the 41st? Yeah, she kept going, right? And say it one more time what you just said.
I added 6 more sets.
6 more sets. I really like the way you're talking. You even said it here already. You said, I added 3 more groups of 4. So first, this is a question for everybody. What answers did people get? What is the 41st number in the sequence? 1? Not everybody says 1. 1 or 2. Okay? So, Roxanne, will you explain your strategy? Again, you're the brain and I'm the hand. So tell me what to do.
What I did was, since the second set on number 4 was the 8th number, I multiplied it by 5, which equals 40, and just added 1. And that's how I came up with the 1.
So help me, what do I write?
Write the 2 sets.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one set of 4s. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 2 sets. And I heard you say that this, again, is the 8th number in the sequence.
Now, if you do it 5 times, so you take 8 times 5, is going to go back to the number 4.
8 times 5
is going to go back to number 4 again.
So 8 times 5 is what?
40.
So just to make sure the hand is understanding, you're saying 8 times 5, which is 40. So you're saying the 40th number will be
4.
4.
And then you go back, and it's just 1 more. So it's 1.
So the 41st number is 1 more. Okay. So how do we know the 40th will be 4? Yeah, Edith?
Because she did 5 sets of the same thing we're seeing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. She did 5 sets of that. So it's going to state the ending number 4. She times that.
So so let's unpack that a little bit. So that 5 is the number of sets, right? Which is kind of goes back to how Renee was talking about her groups, right? She was talking about groups of 4, but
I did it in sets of 8.
Roxanne did it, and she took the whole thing at once. So one of them here is 4. So then if I do that again, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what number is this in the sequence?
8.
This is the 8th number in the sequence, right? Everybody with me?
Yes.
So this is the which number in the sequence? 9, 11, 15, 16. Okay, but I need more groups. So she did how many groups?
5.
3, 4, 5. So this is what number in the sequence? The 8th. What number in the sequence was this? We just said that's the 16th number in the sequence. So then 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24th number. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32nd number.
And 40.
33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Right? Wait, I got lost in all of that. So then why isn't the answer 4?
Because it's asking for the 41st number.
I'm asking for the 41st. Fabio, what do you think of that? Because you said 2. You thought it might be 2. And I know you did it in a different strategy, but...
No, at first I found the 1. And then I started like scratching my head, and I add 19 to 19 because 19 is 3, and if you add it together it would be like 38 is going to be 3. So you count to 41 will give me a 41st, right? So will be 2. But then I got lost.
So that's interesting, right? Because it sounds like you did something similar to what Roxanne did.
Yeah.
Right? Because you took it in terms of groups.
Yes.
But so Renee did groups of 4, Roxanne did groups of 8. Did anyone hear how big his group was?
19.
His group was 19. He said, all right, I know the 19th one is 3, right? Yeah. So if the 19th was free, if I double that, then double 19 is 38. So the 38th one should also be 3. But what is the 38th? Is the 38th one free? We actually have it.
It's 2.
It's the 38th one is actually 2. So that group doesn't work.
I think it's gotta be multiples of 4, so it would be like 4, 8, 16. I think 16 would work.
So I hear two
Or
answers.
32.
I heard one possibility because it is not an even number, and another possibility is it needs to be multiple of 4, right? So 4, 8, 16, or and even before that, 12. So the question kind of to answer if it's this, if it needs to be a multiple of 4, one possible way to think about it is, does it work with groups of 16?
Yep.
OK? You say, yeah, right off the bat. Akis, what do you say? Because your strategy was actually, on your page, looked like something that we're kind of starting. Now that I'm looking at this, it's similar. It's a little different.
I did mine in 4, like 5. I did mine in 4.
Right? But you didn't write, you did yours in groups of 4 like Renee, but you didn't write them all out. You didn't write the 4s out. So what did your page look like? How did you write it?
I don't know, like 4, 18, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, get it down.
So you multiplied it by 4?
Yeah.
So let's look at them all. So what's the 4th number?
4.
4.
What's the 8th number is 4. What's the 12th number?
4.
That's the pattern.
What's the 16th?
16.
24.
Well, the first is the 20th. So every 4 is a 4. How about every 8?
There's the 4.
8. Here's another 8, right? And that's how Roxanne saw it. Every 8 is, so every 4 is a 4. Every 8 is also a 4. What if I did 4 more here and made it 12, right? So it would be 12 and then another 12 and another 12. It would still be those 4s. Okay? So that's 2 different strategies that are connected, right? Just adding them all out and then counting them. But then when you do that, and someone just said it, this is another pattern, right? When you look at this, the pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But now you're saying, but wait, no, there's this other pattern. Every 4, it's a 4. Right? So that's a different pattern that we're looking at. So Fabio, what do you think, 1 or 2? 1. You agree with the 1. All right. So one last for the 91st. First of all, what's the answer? What is the 91st?
3.
3. I hear 3s. I also hear 2s. Does anyone have another strategy that we haven't looked at?
So I made my own strategy. I think it's the easiest way so we can find the number.
OK. The hand understands. So Brad also looked at it in terms of groups, but he didn't use multiplication and he didn't use addition. Anyone want to guess what he used? Which operation? He used division, right? Still, he recognized the same fact that both Roxanne and Edith recognized, which is every 4th one is a 4.
So he took 8 and divided by 91, which is...
Except he didn't deal with groups of 8. Like you, he dealt with groups of 4. So what he said is, so I need 91. So he's imagining this written out 91 times. Every 4 is a group. So he said in 91, how many groups?
More than 10.
Wait, how many groups of 4 are there? Right? Every 4th is going to be a 4. So how many groups of 4 is that? So how many groups of 4 is that? What's 91 divided by 4?
22 groups.
So 91 is 22 groups of 4. So what does that 22 mean? 22 isn't the answer.
Nope.
When you divide 91 by 4, you don't get 22. What do you get?
22
22 remainder
3.
Oh, he's using
And 4/3.
right? And that's what's important. right? So 22 remainder 3. So it means it's going to end on a 4, right? Because there's 22 groups of those 4. But then,
Gotta add 3 more.
so there's no more whole groups, right? You just have to say this, 1, 2, 3, right? And so 3 is how you get 3. So as one final strategy, just to get one up here, nobody did it. But one strategy that you can use is also this. So here's the original pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91.
That takes too long.
I know, but it's funny.
Unless you have
But it
to
works.
write,
It also does work. And when it comes to,
Unless you have to-
well, I'm not quite sure, is it this or this? It's one way to see it, just by actually counting it. If you look at these strategies, Renee's is the one we can point to and see. Roxanne's wasn't. It was her reasoning that she used to answer it, but then we were able to translate into something that we could see to understand it better, right? Similar to Brad, it was his reasoning, but we didn't even see it, right? So that, again, when you're not sure, when you're stuck between two things, I know it's either this, but maybe it's this, and I'm not quite sure, something that you can see can help resolve that, okay? So different ways of looking at pattern.